Are you still dwelling in the house of the dragon? Anywhere outside the house of the Most High is the house of the dragon in these end days. I don't know if you've ever heard the story before about this Tecumseh comet that happened that was its brightest. It was at its brightest during right around the time of the New Madrid earthquake and or earthquakes. And right at that time, America was invaded by Britain. Right at the same time. And there was eclipses that happened right at that time, and they went over right along the line this one in April did. And there's all kinds of signs. There's all kinds of warning right now for the world to see what's going on. I seen someone tweeted something or put a Weather Channel, a clip from the Weather Channel, showing that there's been these crazy storms, I guess, in the Midwest right along the line of totality. And there's been over 12,000 lightning strikes there in like a day or something, like an unbelievable number. All these things are happening. But I got looking at this here, what happened back then in 1812 when right around the time them earthquakes happened, there was comets and eclipses and an invasion. And that sounds about like what's happening right now. And the Tecumseh guy was this guy right here. He became one of the greatest Native American leaders in American history. They named the comet after this guy, Tecumseh Comet. And I'll tell you why. I'll read this here to you. American leaders in American history had a vision to unify the tribes to create an independent country that could rival the Americans. This is right along with the narrative, like right along with all the self-determinations, the self-determination and the 14 points, the speech given by Woodrow Wilson that we've talked about, the guy, the main character from Thunderbolts, that's what his whole objective is to create his own sovereign country here in America. That's what all this stuff is about. He had a vision to unify the tribes to create an independent country that could rival the Americans. Allied with British during the War of 1812, was killed in action in the Battle of whatever. But there was this curse called the Curse of Tippecanoe. Now check this out. And it was associated with him. The name Curse of Tippecanoe derives from the 1811 battle, as governor of the Indian Territory, William Harrison, that's my middle name and my last name, it's just missing my first name, bribed Native Americans to cede their lands to the U.S. government and handed out whiskey that caused alcoholism to run rampant among Indians. This angered the Shawnee chief Tecumseh and brought government, soldiers, and Native Americans to the brink of war. As a result, Tecumseh and his brother organized a group of Indian tribes designed to resist white westward expansion. In 1811, Harrison successfully attacked Tecumseh's village, in which Harrison defeated the Shawnee leaders, Tecumseh. That's the fifth or sixth thing that's taught that I've researched that we see is directly tied to what the message is, to what I've been saying. That's like the fifth or sixth piece of evidence that you can read through that has my name in it, at least. And so that guy Tecumseh, his brother was this prophet, that Tequana. And And he prophesied the eclipses before they happened. Like, he knew they were going to come, and all these people feared this guy because they thought he was this prophet. They call him a prophet. And this is what he says. He says, but Harrison will die, I tell you, and when he dies, you will remember my brother Tecumseh's death. You think that I have lost my powers, I who caused the sun to darken and Red Man to give up firewater. But I tell you, Harrison will die, and after him every great chief with a O thereafter will die. And when each one dies, let everyone remember the death of our people. So this is, and that I think happened. If there was the guy that was talking about that, he said that every president that was elected with a 0 in the year or something end up dying or something. I don't know, but it's nothing to do with what I'm talking about. But you can see that there was some strange things happening around that time, right in that area where the eclipse, where X marks the spot, where Maconda is. It's all about what we've been talking about, the land, our eyes becoming open to what land is which and where we belong, where our home is, and coming home. This here article is talking about the strange happenings during the earthquakes. The New Madrid earthquakes were the biggest earthquakes in American history. They occurred in the central Mississippi Valley, but were felt as far away as New York City, Boston, Montreal, and D.C. President James Madison and his wife Dolly felt them in the White House. Church bells rang in Boston from December 16th, 1811 through March of 1812. There were over 2,000 earthquakes in the central Midwest, but between 6,000 and 10,000 earthquakes in the Boot Hill of Missouri, where New Madrid is located near the junction of the Ohio and Mississippi rivers. So there was 3 of them. That one was a magnitude 8.1, and another one a 7.8, and another one 8.2. And if you're not familiar with what happened, it destroyed whole cities and made the Mississippi to run north for like 2 hours. And made the sky dark. It was the craziest thing. They said that they seen light coming out of it right here. Earthquake lights. Lights flashed from the ground caused by quartz crystals being squeezed. The phenomena is called whatever, but could you imagine that? Smoke come out and made the earth dark. They couldn't hardly see the land. They couldn't even hardly see using lanterns walking through the woods and stuff. Whole cities. There was cities like New Madrid. There was one called Small Prairie or Giant Prairie or something like that. That the people said when they got to was completely gone. Like, it was the worst disaster ever. All kinds of people died. And at that time there was a comet, and they think it's this comet that's going to be seen during this eclipse coming up. But all the stuff that I've shown you, you guys, you should know what's coming. But in the last video, I read pretty much all of Malachi. And I said, just pick a book, ran the book, and I mentioned Micah, so I just picked Micah. Let me read this to you and show you, let the Most High show you, tell you from his mouth what's going on. It's going to confirm everything I've been saying. There is no reason to doubt this. Anyone who doubts this is a fool, and death awaits you. I can assure you. The word of Yahuwah that came to Micah of Moraseth in the days of Jotham, Ahaz, Hezekiah, sovereigns of Yehuda, which he saw concerning Samaria and Jerusalem. Okay, so the word he saw, the Most High didn't tap on his shoulder and say, hey, Micah. No, Micah was reading the word and found this word. And this word concerns Samaria and Jerusalem, the 2 cities. Hear, all you peoples. Listen, O earth, all who are in it, and let the Master Yahuwah be a witness against you. Yahuwah from his set apart Hakal. That falls right in the category, doesn't it, of this message, of what I've been proclaiming, shouting from the rooftops. For look, Yahuwah is coming out of his place, and he shall come down and shall tread on the high places of the earth. Yep. And the mountains shall melt under him, and the valleys be cleft as wax before the fire, as waters poured down a steep place. All this is for the transgression of Jacob and for the sins of the house of Yasharal. What is the transgression of Jacob? Is it not Samaria? And what are the high places of Yehuda? Are they not Jerusalem? And I shall make Samaria a heap in the field, places for a planting a vineyard. And I shall pour down her stones into the valley and uncover her foundations. Uncover her foundations. And all her carved images shall be beaten in pieces, and all her harlot fees be burned with the fire. Harlot fees. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? And all her idols I shall lay waste, for she gathered it from the harlot fee of a whore, and they shall return to the harlot fee of a whore. So now we should know exactly who we're talking about, huh? We're talking about Sor. We're talking about the image of the beast. We're talking about the whore of Babylon. It's all the same thing. It's Isis, Ra, El. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And you're going to see even more. Because of this, I lament and howl. I go stripped and naked. I make a lamentation like jackals and a mourning like ostriches. Bingo. There's those jackals and there's those ostriches again. I wasn't lying to you. Every time we're reading about the whore of Babylon, the image of the beast, the imposter, the house of wrongness, the border of wrongness, the house of the thief, the house of the dragon, the house of bloodshed, all those things, we always see jackals and ostriches. For her wounds are incurable. Her wounds, there's that mark of the beast, that boil. For it has come to Yehuda, it has come to the gate of my people, to Jerusalem. There's that gate. That means to the path home, to seeing into the house, to seeing to where the house is. That is exactly what we've been saying, that anything outside the house, you're marked by the beast. In the house is where the safety is, and it's a actual, real geographical location, and it's whoever would want to go to the geographical location to get under their dad's wing. They love their dad, and they want to get under his wing. That's why they come here. That's what it's about. That's following the Lamb. It's a pilgrimage. Yes, I said pilgrimage. I know that upsets some people who don't want to leave their house, their paneled houses, to come and do that which is continual, to show up at your dad's house at the appointed times when he's asked you to come and be a part of the family of Yasharal, the children of the Most High. But, if that pisses you off hearing the word pilgrimage, you're heading for destruction. That's all there is to it. And that's what this is all about. This is all about getting us home. And you need to scratch, crawl, kick, stomp, beg, whatever you got to do. You need to get home. Do not declare it in Gath. Weep not at all in Beth Aprah. Roll yourself in the dust. Passed by in nakedness and shame, you inhabitant of Shafir. The inhabitant of Sanan has not gone out. The lamentation of Beth Etzel takes from you its standing place. Though the inhabitants of Merath waited for good, Yet evil came down from Yahuwah to the gate of Jerusalem. O inhabitant of Lachish, harness the chariot to the horse. She was the beginning of sin to the daughter of Sion. For the transgression of Yasharal were found in you. To the harness of the chariot of the horse. Sounds a lot like the bridle of the horses, doesn't it? Where everything's trodden down outside the city, up to the bridles of the horses. She was the beginning of sin to the daughter of Sion. For the transgressions of Yasharal were found in you. Therefore you shall give parting gifts to Moresheth Goth, the house of Achzib, becoming a deception to the sovereigns of Yasharal, becoming a deception, a stumbling block, a snare. Because look, right now, the world of believers, they're believing that this is the battle of Gog and Magog, and that the world's coming against Israel. And that's what they believe. They believe that, yep, see, the world's coming, they're going to come against them, but whoever tries to lift them, it's going to be a burden to them, whatever. But what they don't understand is that's the border of wrongness. So that's the snare, because the world is sitting there watching, the believers are sitting there, they're watching these nasty people do these nasty things, and they won't say nothing about them. They got words that they use that shut conversations down, like anti-Semitic and God's holy people. And they say that, but the people and the place and the return that they're talking about, it's the image of the beast. It's the snare. It's the trap set. Because if you really love the Most High and you read his word, you tremble over it, you'll see that that's the image of the beast, the house of wrongness, and you wouldn't dare give it any kind of reverence or respect or esteem. So all the world is esteeming and revering that place and honoring and won't touch it. They adore that place because they haven't read the word. They may have read some word here and there, but they're not reading it like they need to, like Micah was reading it when he found this word. This word I'm sharing with you right now, that it's in here. Micah found it. People before him didn't see it the way he was saying it. And that's how it is. And the Most High, that's how brilliant he is. All honor, all glory, all praise, and all esteem to Abba Yahuwah, the one and only, the Most High, our wonderful Creator, our righteousness. Face down, all esteem. He can speak words that forever, they just keep producing forever, and you never will. You can't put a box on it. It's not done. Once it fulfills something, that ain't the end of it. It'll fulfill something on down the road. And that's how this is. This word that you need to see now, that's telling you to come home, like everything else is, it's been here this whole time, but we just couldn't see it until now. Again, I shall bring a dispossessor to you, O inhabitant of Mareshah. The esteem of Yasharal shall come to Adullam. So, a dispossessor of the land, O inhabitant of Mareshah. And so it's the inhabitant of Mareshah. The esteem of Yasharal shall come to Adullam. Adullam. Right there by Jerusalem. So, don't get it twisted. This is talking about an imposter and the tearing down of boundaries, the lying, the confusion. The land is in confusion. That's why it says right here in verse 16, make yourself bald and cut off your hair for the children of your delight. Enlarge your baldness like an eagle, for they shall be exiled from you. That way you can come out. That's talking about he's exposing. And he said he would shave the hair of the legs, the head, everything, the beard. He's lifted the skirt. We're seeing the shame then of her nakedness and the wickedness about her harlot feet. She's returning to it. We're seeing all that. She's singing the sweet songs of a whore, so that she might be remembered. Now it's time to come out. Exile, out of there. Woe to those plotting wickedness and working out evil upon their beds. Boom, their beds. When he says their beds, that's not talking about sex. He's talking about your bed is your resting place, your home. And he's talking about Jerusalem, the high place. So when he's talking about plotting wickedness, working out evil, he's talking about the line of the set apart dwelling place and the image of the beast. In the light of the morning, they practice it because it is in the middle of their hand. It is in the might of their hand. In the light of the morning, they practice it. And they coveted fields and seized them. See, this is all about land and houses. That's what it's about. Also houses, and took them away. That's 1948 right there. What do they call it? The Nikba or whatever? Yeah, and I've been showing this for years. 2 or 3 years ago, I showed, and I've showed it several times. I've shown right here on these channels how they destroyed 560 some towns, villages, wiped out all kinds of people and sent almost 1 million of them packing. That place is built on straight bloodshed and unrighteousness. This is talking about 1948. They coveted fields, seized them, also houses, took them away, and they oppressed a man and his house, a man and his inheritance, our inheritance. They oppressed us because all the believers, all the children, the people who should be in Yasharal that love the Most High, but they just can't see past the stumbling block because it's how the Word proves you. I mean, you're going to have to really be reading His Word to see this. But that's what it takes. That means you love the Most High. That's evidence of love. And you're going to have to walk like that. You can't never look into this and just keep keep rushing towards the edge and never look in to see if it is a cliff. You need to look into this so you can come out and avoid death. Therefore, thus said Yahuwah, see, against this clan I am planning evil from which you do not remove your necks, nor walk proudly, for this is a time of evil. In that day one shall lift up a proverb against you, and he shall lament with a bitter lamentation, and shall say, we have been utterly ravaged. He changes the inheritance of my people. How he removes it from me. He apportions our fields to the backslider. Boom, there you go. You see? He changes the inheritance of my people. That's what's happened, my Mishpachah, my friends, my brothers, my sisters. Wake up. Come out of the image of the beast. And the reason you're seeing all this truth is because you have to come home. It's time to come home. That's what it means when it says that the dwelling place in the heaven was opened in Revelations, and it says that the ark was seen in there. The ark is your safety. Just like the Noah's ark and the Ark of the Covenant, this is where your safety is. You must return. Therefore you shall have no one in the assembly of Yahuwah to divide the land by lot. You do not preach, they preach. They do not preach to these. Reproaches are not turned back. Are you called house of Jacob? Has the spirit of Yahuwah been limited? Are these his doings? Do not my words do good to the one walking uprightly? And lately my people have risen up as an enemy. You strip off the robe with the garment from those who trust you as they pass by, those returning from battle. You have driven the women of my people from their pleasant houses. You have taken away my splendor from their children forever. Arise and go, for this is not your rest, because uncleanness destroys and the destruction is grievous. Boom. This is not your rest. They changed your inheritance. And if you don't go from there, the destruction is grievous. You know why he says grievous? That's that grievous wound, the mark of the beast. Just think about it. If he has a house and that's where you're supposed to come to, anywhere other than that, if you think you can stay anywhere else, you are wounded grievously. If a man walking after wind and falsehood has lied, I preach to you of wine and of strong drink, he shall be the preacher of this people. See, that's what it means every time it's talking about wine and strong drink. It's not literal, it's falsehood. And it convinces man to walk after wind. I shall certainly gather all of you, O Jacob. I shall bring together the remnant of Yasharal, put them together like sheep of the fold, like a flock in the midst of their pasture, they being noisy because of men. The breach maker shall go up before them. They shall break out and pass through the gate and go out by it, and their sovereign pass before them, with Yahuwah at their head. Hallelujah, Yahuwah. All honor, all praise, all glory, all esteem, baby. Come home where you belong. Come get you some.